I'm amazing. I made it through life's mazes. I'm a beast. Can you tell me that you is without hating? I beat all of my trials and tribulations. I'm amazing. I made it through life's mazes, migrating relationships. I remained in maintaining homeostasis. So let me dumb it down for all my foes. I got my homies helping me honing on all my goals. We get the goal, going in is the mold. We molded out of catastrophe, atrophy we oppose. We uphold each other. It takes a village, I'm sure of it.
How do you feel about Beats in the Bars, and what does it provide for you?
It's dope. It's dope because it's much needed. Like I say, music now is just so generic, and with Beats Under Bars, we're changing it every month to where you would think in 30 days there's not much that can change, but every single Beats Under Bars, a different topic, a different feeling, a different facet of life. And even in the same month, you got 3 to 5 to 7 people that when you listen to them, their content's not even the same on the same beat. And it's like, there's so many times where you can just vibe out to just the beat, and then it makes you feel something, and then you kind of talk about it. And then you listen to someone else and you hear how it made them feel and them talk about it, and it just kind of shows how diverse things can be. And it's literally the opposite of what's going on the radio, where it's, hey, this is the hot beat. Give me a beat that sounds like that so I can sound like that and get popular. And it's like, why? Like, it has nothing to do with you.
Right.
So it's like Beats Under Bars, it's just really, for me at least, it's super personal, because it's, hey, this is the topic. How does it relate to you? It's not like, hey, talk about ex-girlfriends. It's,
right.
Hey, this is about love. What does that mean to you when I just say that one word?
Absolutely.
Hey, this is about life. Yeah. Hey, this is about going hard. What do you go hard for? And it's, everybody internalizes it differently. And just when you hear everybody's kind of thoughts, it's just, I don't know, that's like hip hop. It's, you listen to 5 people listen to the same thing and hear the same words and all take it differently.
Right.
And that just brings me back to when I grew up listening to music, when you were shaped by what you listened to. And it's, even with the passing now, DMX and stuff like that's going on, it's like, I feel like I knew DMX.
Wow.
Because it's, you just hear a beat and it's like, oh, that's a dope beat. But then when you hear his words on it, and it's just like, there was songs of DMX's that I felt that just helped me feel better about me. He's in pain, but he's making it. You know what I mean? Like, Beats Under Bars helps with that, where I could talk about something, and sometimes I'll listen back to my old Beats Under Bars, and it's almost like therapy. Like, I've always kind of transformed when I do the whole Johnny Magnum thing, and it's been like that since I was just writing poetry, where there's sometimes I'd be reading and listening to stuff, and I'm like, I wrote this to talk to me.
Right. Oh my God.
And it's
nailed it.
Now I can do it monthly.
Oh man.
So it's really dope. But it's helpful just being able to kind of get those thoughts out of your head. I think that's why I listened to Eminem when I first grew up. Just some of the stuff he was talking about was outlandish, but it was like, sometimes you felt like that. You know what? I do want to stab everyone in this room right now. I'm angry. That's how I feel. Yeah. And it's, society is all about, you have to feel this way, and if you feel this way, this is how you should act until you don't feel this way. And it's like, but that's not real. Right. It's, you know what? For the next 20 minutes, the next person to talk to me is getting slapped in the face. Right. That's just how I feel right now. Don't talk to me for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, we can have civil conversation. But for right now, I feel like slapping people. Right. But it's like, you can listen to certain music that just, this is slap people music. Like, that's just what I want to do. I'm listening to Nuka Buck right now. I'm listening to MOP Annie Up right now. And you come to me, you might get stepped on. Like, that's just going to happen. But you can feel how you want to feel in that moment. Right. And I feel like that's how you get past stuff, because naturally, just growing up, it was all about suppressing, especially as a dude. Like, you weren't really allowed to have emotions. It was, man up, you're a boy, stop acting out like that. You know what I mean? So being able to just talk about There's beats on the bars where I'm just talking about my mom, talking about my dad. I'm sending it to him. He's like, "This is the best thing I've ever got." I'm like, that's awesome. But everything in that song is how I felt since I was a little kid. But my dad didn't hear it until last year.
Wow.
So it's like stuff like that is like life changing for me, because it's like that helped me get closer with my father. You know what I mean? And it's like it's 30 years of how I feel, and I couldn't explain that when I was 18. But now I'm 30 something. It's like I can articulate. Now I can see the things that he instilled in me when I was little making sense now that I have a kid, 2 kids.
I see.
With beats on the bars, I wasn't thinking about that until it was, here's the beat, we're talking about pops.
Right.
That's when it got me in that mode. So it's like, that's just, I don't know, music just has that kind of effect, but only when you're inspired to do it. So it's like having a muse, but it just, like I said, beats on the bars helps me talk to myself, which is just really dope. I listen to all my old stuff all the time from beats on the bars.
Same.
And just listen to it. I just know that half my YouTube views might be me. If I can't find it on my phone, I'm like, let me just put it on here real quick.
Thus far on the Beats on the Bars journey, have you had any challenging rounds?
I'm trying to think. I know there were some that took me longer to do, but I don't necessarily know if it was challenging in that sense. It was just like the ones for my mom and dad were probably, I would say, the closest to challenging, only because I know they listened to my stuff, and it was just like, I really hope they don't hit me up like that was trash.
Yeah.
So it's like, because that would hurt me, because I was really putting my all into like the feeling of this is how I feel. But I can't say that either one of them have ever heard me talk to them like that, which was also like sad. So it's like, I was happy writing it because it's like, I know this is how I feel. But it was sad because it's like, this is the first time they're going to hear how I feel in this kind of depth. And I was just like, I don't know how to talk to them that way, but I can rap it and let them hear it. And they love it.
Right.
But it's like, I don't know. Sometimes it's harder to speak than it is to rap. And that it's confusing to me. Like, I don't understand it. It's like I'm the same person, but just knowing that was going to be how I felt, it was kind of like bittersweet, because it was like, I know they're going to like it either way, but it's sad that they don't hear this all the time. So that was kind of the 2 challenge ones, which is they were back to back. Yeah. So it's like, while I was writing my mom's, I was thinking about my dad, even though you hadn't told us that. I was like, I gotta write one for my dad too. Like, I was gonna write one regardless. Like, if you hadn't come up with one, I was gonna probably do it to the same beat and just make it twice as long and then send it out to them like, this is for my parents. But it was like, there's things you don't say, and then especially with 2020, with just all the death that's been going on, it's like, you gotta make sure you say something to the people you care about before you can't. And that's, all of that was flowing through my head as I was writing those 2. So those were definitely probably the hardest ones to write.
Okay, absolutely. I can agree. I can agree with that. Wow.
I've been studying hip hop since I was like in high school. I remember my homie Gene used to make fun of me. He was in my wedding. I had a notebook that I used to bring on the bus. Every time there was a dope song I would literally write down all the words in my notebook.
Wow. And
just read them all over and over again. Like, I should have started Rap Genius, because I've been doing that for 20 years. And they just started, and now they're rich, which is, I'm hating, but whatever. I started that. They stole that from me somehow.
Okay.
So it's like, I'd always pay attention to the stuff that I liked the most, what was similar about it. And it was, a lot of it had to do with, the lyrical content, obviously. Like, did the verse mean anything? Or was it just flexing lyrical skill? Or in some of the greats, Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas, it was both. And I was like, I didn't know you could do both. That's actually kind of dope. I like you now. So it's like, I kind of determine, am I just going for crazy wordplay? Or am I going for heavy content where I'm not really going to focus on wordplay at all? Or am I going to do a little bit of both? And some of that is determined by the beat, as crazy as that sounds, where this beat sounds like you know what, I'm about to just spaz on this real quick. I'm gonna go nuts and just, I'm a flex on my breath control, I'm a flex on multi-syllables where, you know, I'm not rhyming the last word, I'm rhyming the last 8 syllables.
Wow.
For 8 bars.
Triple doubling, try to jump them, won't get to prove your own endeavors well put together but missing screws. Think I'm tripping you in to get your dudes if they beside you, pay. The iron lands them and missing crews. No, I alright, you could die today and die in straights. Think I'm kidding, play to be a rap to your back, you won't get to cape. I'm at your Nate, so stay in line or try to skate. Open your eyes trying to call my bluff. If you dilate, you get violated. Get away with murder, Viola Davis. I'm designated as the greatest, go switch your cadence. You rap like you take basics, stick to basics. Only one on your playlist ain't to be played with, I glitch the matrix. Face it.
Then there's the internal rhyme scheme that like Rakim started. Like I started listening to that. As simple as that was, it was like, dang, when you look at it, it's like everyone else is like cat, hat. He's just like integral, biblical, hybrical, and I was like, what? But then it's like, then when you listen to the words, it's like you can enjoy it on so many levels to where some of the stuff that I write, I'm like, I don't want you to catch it all in the first go. I want you to listen to it 4 times and be like, dang, I didn't catch that before. I want to be able to post, you know, a little 20-second clip on Instagram, like, oh, dang, those few bars were fire, or dang, I didn't think of this like that. And then I want to post another one on Facebook where it's just like, dang, that's a dope message. And it's like, that's all the same verse. That way it's, you know, I need to hear that on Saturday.
Right. Wow.
So it's like, that's what I started doing, where sometimes I'm just like listening to the thing and I start thinking, yo, how would I start this? Then sometimes when I'm listening to it, it's just like, dang, this would be a fire last bar. So I start at the end. Like, let me start with my fire ass last bar. Like, dang, this is what everything's gonna build up to. This is the ending. So now everything else has to lead up to that. So it's like I start writing it backwards of, all right, this is the, you know, for 8 bars straight, I'm just I'm changing my flow, I'm changing speed, I'm changing this, that, and the third. It's like, all right, if I'm doing all of that here, then maybe I need to add some content here and then add this here so that I have, the profound statement in the beginning, the message in the middle, the lesson, and then the lyrical stuff at the end, if I can do it that way. So it's like sometimes I'll literally write the entire thing like, all right, this is my end bar. What will come before that? What will come before that? What will come before that? And then I practice it that way. So it's like there's times where I'll be writing and I'll be like, yo, these last 4 bars are gonna be nuts. I have no idea what's coming before it though. And it's just dope to me. Like I love being able to do that. That's why it takes me so long to record when I'm trying to mix it, because it's like I already know what it's supposed to sound like. I know what the video's supposed to look like. I already know what the background vocals are supposed to sound like. I know what the front vocals are supposed to sound like. So once I can't mix it that way, it's like, no, this is wrong. I've been listening to this for 3 weeks. I know that this is wrong. This is a classic already.
That's so crazy.
I haven't recorded it yet. It's 3 weeks old. But that's why it sounds in my head. It's like I already know what it's supposed to sound like. Because I've listened to every little component of it, every little ad lib, every little extra sound, every little, I need a delay right here. I need an extra stutter sound right here. I need this right here. I need to make my voice higher octavely here. Like I know exactly where I'm gonna go, what the tone of I want this to sound like a question. I want this to be a voice inflection. Like I know where every syllable is supposed to sit to where I know what the final product sounds like before I finish it.
I see.
So it's like, that's where being a perfectionist just on the computer, I'll be mixing on the computer for 12 hours and then just delete everything and then be like, nah, this doesn't sound right. I'm too far gone. Let me record it again. Let me send it to somebody else and let them do it. And then I get mad because they send it back in like 4 hours. I'm like, how did you do that in 4 hours? I'm working this for 2 weeks. And I'll get mad and I'll be like, what did you do here? What did you do here? But it's that's kind of the people that mix for me. That's their talent. They don't even know how to really explain everything to me. It's just like, I just made your voice sit in the mix properly. I don't really, like, most of the time they're telling me they didn't do much of anything to my voice. And I'm using all these plugins and trying to change the compression and trying to change all of this other stuff. And they're like, yeah, I put a de-esser on it and then raise the volume a little bit. And I was like, what? I've been working on this for 6 days. What do you mean that's all you did? And then you send it back to me and it sounds perfect. And I'm like, all right. But they're letting my voice do what it does, and I'm trying to force it to do something else. And that's the difference. But that's their talent of,
Absolutely.
I understand what you're telling me to do, but just shut up and I'll send it back to you in a couple hours. And then when I get it back, I'm like, oh, you did everything I said. I'm like, no, I didn't. I did everything I was supposed to do. Everything you was talking was some bullshit. You know, nowadays with anybody looking at stuff, they're not just looking for talent, they're looking for momentum. It's, hey, can this be successful? They're not looking at that. Is it successful?
This is true.
Can more money make it better and profitable? Is really all they're looking for now. Like, you look at even artists that are out now, like, they're not signing artists anymore. It's, let me buy this song from you. Hey, you got a hot song by yourself.
Right.
Let me put some music into it and I'll pay for your next single. If that goes big, then we can work on something else. But it's like, you've got to do all the work.
Right.
Before it was, let me rap and we can be at the back of a club and I'm gonna rap. That was a hot freestyle. Let's put something out. It's like, nobody's doing that anymore. Like, you need to have your own, you need to almost be successful before you can make it now. I was looking at how Tory Lanez before he was acting all stupid shooting people.
Right.
And it was like, he got famous off of SoundCloud before he got his first deal. And then he got his deal and then he was still doing all the work. They were just paying for stuff. So it's like, he still had to do everything, but it's like, Tory Lanez was making music years before he was popular and signed, but it was, nobody cared until, hey, if you can't do it by yourself, I don't really care.
Right.
Like, labels now are trying to buy finished product. You've already got a whole bunch of Twitter followers, you've already got, I can make my money back instantly on this.
It's like an investment.
I'll give you $50,000 and then you go to the studio and, do your little money phone thing. As long as those people come back to me in some way, shape, or form, they don't care anymore. They don't care if your music is good anymore, and I think that's why the radio sucks, which I can't listen to anymore. That's why everything sounds the same. It's like,
this is true.
Hey, if this all sounds the same, if that's what's working, let's just keep doing it.
That's been a heavy topic. Music sounding the same trend. You know, it's almost as if people are afraid to go in their own direction.
Because it's so commercial now. It's if I can sound like this and it gets popping, as soon as it gets popping, now I can go to this label. I got 50,000 views. I got 20,000 followers. I got look at what I did in 6 months. Give me some money and let's go further. And I'm just gonna make 8 more songs that sound exactly like that.
Right.
And then I nobody's really, even now, like, I can't remember the last album I listened to that wasn't like somebody that I've been with, like Jay-Z, Beanie Siegel, Method Man. Like, I can't remember the last album I listened to that was like a new artist, besides like Cardi B, which I actually loved her album, which I was surprised.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to anything before like Bodak Yellow came out, like her mixtape. I didn't listen to any of that stuff, but just her CD was the first one I listened to where it was like, it's a whole body of work. Like, none of her songs sound the same. It was, okay, she's going through this, and then this is in the music. And I was like, that's kind of cool. She's talking about what she's actually going through. And it sounds dope, which obviously makes it helpful.
Absolutely.
But a lot of these other people now, it's just like, I don't have friends, I'm doing drugs.
Right.
I'm going to get high, and then I'm going to do it again tomorrow.
Right.
And it's like, okay, I guess. And the frequencies that we don't really know how to explain, music taps into it, and the people we call geniuses in music are in tune with it. And one day it's going to be like, well, yeah, like aliens are going to come and be like, well, of course it does. What do you mean? Like, it's going to be basic knowledge to some super intelligent thing that we just didn't understand, that music was the answer for everything. And it's just, we've been using it wrong. Like, that's what we're going to find out. But I feel like, the powers that be already kind of know that. That's why, there's still that war on drugs, but all the popular music is about doing drugs. And it's like, they know that it's influential. They just don't know how to they don't know how to use it. So it's like, hey, you know how to use it. Let me exploit you because I can't do it. And then they're just, we need to push an agenda. So I need you to do that for me. I need you to find a way of doing that. But you know, music has always been transcendent past spiritual and political and everything, race. Like it's, you could have, you know, I watched DMX perform at Woodstock in front of 100,000 white people, and I was like, how do white people know about DMX? Why do they know about, why do they feel his music? And it's just like, well, I guess that kind of makes sense. But it's like, I didn't understand it as a kid. Like, white people don't go through the things black people go through, but it's like, you know what, some of them might.
Right.
They might have, it's going to be a different experience, but it's the feeling is still, I feel like hurting somebody.
Right.
I can go out and hurt somebody, or I can just get in my mode, listen to my music, and let it out peacefully, and then go about my day at Starbucks and not kill somebody. Like, it's, if you can find a way to do that, let's do it.
Right.
You know, you don't need mass shooting. I missed the whole thing.
It's all good. I want to take this down anyway.
Not paying attention.
I know. It's easy to do. It's easy to do.
Lyrical Beast.